quick check. How many of you are actually first time in SDCC to this place? Wow, yeah, we have a lot of new friends over here. So I'm going to do a very short introductions about what SITEC is, and also tell you about what you can actually benefit from this organization or this place, right? Okay, these are just some of the published items. Okay, so we established in 2015. We started in June, but this center we opened sometime October of 2015. So until now, today is less than 3 years. Okay, so this is an initiative by the Selangor government. So everything that you have seen here, all the facilities, all the classes, and later all the food, everything is actually supported by Invest Selangor. So these are some of the achievements up to end of December. So now definitely we have more than that, right? So we have done a lot of classes, and we have also reached about 80,000 up to last year December through all the classes and events that we organize. And we do e-commerce conferences and major events, and such as smart city events organized by us. Sometimes 2016 once, 2017 once. Okay. So yeah, we have also helped. We have a program. I will go through the program later. It's called Online 100. We have helped more than 300 merchants to go online, and yes, some of the this is the total online sales, 51K orders. I would say orders. Okay. So we have four main programs that we have over here. First is the Online 100, this one, and together with the Apps 100, this is actually come in bundle. If you join the Online 100 program, then together you will get Apps 100. And SDCC, which is this place, is called Selangor Digital Creative Center. It's a co-working space, and also e-commerce educations, and of course including some of the startup education as well, like today. Okay. So Online 100 is actually a program. Let's say if you already have products and you're already selling it offline, maybe in some of the traditional retail center and so, but you want to go online, you don't know how, right? There's a lot of things that you need to know, the knowledge. Then what about the logistics, this and that, everything, right? So one of it is, we actually have this program called Online 100 and Apps 100. We help 100 traditional business to go online in a year. So up to date, we have around more than 300 merchants that we help. So the criteria of applying for this program is very easy. As long as you have the products, physical products that you can sell, and of course your address of your company, registered address, must be in Selangor. So these are the main criteria that you need to fulfill. And you just submit the form through our website, or you can actually grab a form from our receptionist later and fill out the form, and we'll process it around 2-3 weeks. We'll let you know whether you enroll to this program or not. So this program is, we will help you to list your product, connect you to some of the marketplaces. So namely, Log On, 11th Street, Uberly, Lazada, and Shopee. So means you come here once, so sekali you connect to all. Easy, right? Then, some of the recruitment, we have first, second, third, fourth batch. And now we are actually at the fourth batch already. So just check with my colleagues, then they can actually guide you through. Then the other thing, just some facts that I can share with you. In 2016, we realized that health and beauty, home and living, and fashion, these are the top three merchants that we have from top three products that they sell by our online 100 merchants. And the following year, it's still the same, just that the home and living go to first. Okay. So these are some of the graphs that show you. Baby and kids product, is very, very favorable by a lot of top 100, online 100 merchants. and fashion, health and beauty, home living, grocery, sports, electronics, books, and services and coupon. Next. Okay, so this is just a very quick one. We have around 72% of male seller and then 27% of female seller. So yeah, so now this year we want to increase more of the women entrepreneurs. Then the other fun fact here is, yeah, you see, we have most of the merchants actually located in Petaling area, and followed by this is Ulu Langat, and then Klang area. Okay. And yes, if you join the online 100 program, other than connecting you to the marketplace that we mentioned just now, we also help you to do your own apps. So this is something that come together. So you can actually give to your existing customer, telling them that, hey, you can actually use this, download these apps, and you can order from the apps. So meaning you have the connection to the main marketplaces, and you also have your own apps. And everything is free, as long as you fulfill the criteria. And yes, next about this Selangor Digital Creative Center, 11,000 square feet, 2 floors. If you are the first time here, later during the tea break, you can actually go upstairs and yeah, just have a short tour. So what we have here is, we want to help the entrepreneurs to start easy. So if you want to go out and go and rent an office and all that, it will cost you a lot, and you need to take care of all the utilities as well. So over here, with only 100 ringgit per person per month, you can enjoy all the facilities. Nice, right? So Monday to Friday, 9 to 6, we didn't open on Saturday, Sunday. So you can operate your business over here, you can come in anytime within the 9 to 6 and sit anywhere you like, because we practice a hot desking system. Okay, and if you need to use the meeting room, you just need to book with our receptionist. So as long as the meeting room is vacant, then you can actually book to use for your own meetings. And for this kind of events hall and all that, if you want to rent it for your own business launching, or you want to do some seminars and all that, yes, if you are the co-workers, you will get 30% off discount. If you are not, you can actually go through our receptionist, and then she will help you to do the application whether you are eligible for using this space or not. Okay? Yeah, then e-commerce classes, like today, we have already, it's a similar class like today, we have already done in the past 3 years. So we have average of 20 classes per year in different languages. We have in English, like today is English, we have Malay language classes, we have Chinese language classes as well. So we cover mainly things that you need to know before you want to be an online e-seller. Okay, so like today we have Facebook marketing. Sometimes we have topics like logistics. We will invite some of the market players to come and tell you about how things operate and what are the tips that you need to know to actually do your job and so. So we also have some classes like content marketing. So you know what are the what is actually need to be done for you to actually look up for the nice content and all that. Yeah. So other than just now the online 100, apps 100, the education classes, and also the co-working space, we also have a lot of other initiatives. So one of it is called SITEC Academy. So like today, all the materials we will upload into SITEC Academy website. So basically, if you miss today's class or you miss all our previous classes, you can go to the website and you can view the video, you can actually download the presentation slides from there. Okay. Then Top E-Commerce Merchant Awards, Southeast Asia E-Commerce Conference, E-Commerce Hackathon, Future Commerce Forum, and all that. These are all the things that we have done, and we have more coming up this year. Yeah, this is the SITEC Academy that I mentioned. You can go to sitecacademy.com. So basically, you will see all the presentations, videos, e-commerce modules, and of course, we will also input some of other people's materials for you for your reading. Top E-Commerce Merchant Awards, we have done it since 2016. We want to reward and want to recognize their hard work. We have a lot of very, very good e-commerce sellers in Malaysia. So they're very committed to the industry. They do a lot of hard work to actually bring up the whole ecosystem, but we don't know, most of the time you don't know who are the people behind. So this is why we want to do this award. In 2016 and 2017, we will open for the applications. You can actually apply as long as you fulfill the criteria that we mentioned over there. Then 50% is through public voting, 50% is through the industry player to actually give you marks and all that. So last year, I think Precious.com won our first place. Yeah, let me see. So 35,000 ringgit cash prize for the winner. Okay. So e-commerce conference in 2015, we actually invite some of the Southeast Asia big player to come and talk about cross-border e-commerce. In 2016, we did it again, and yeah, we have e-commerce hackathon in 2016 where we invite all the industry players to come here and talk about what are the problems that we are having now and how are we going to improve. Then forum last year. Okay. And other than the e-commerce initiative, we also encourage tech startup. Tech startup as in if you want to build something, let's say I have maybe I have an idea that I want to build something similar to Uber or Grab or maybe Market, something like that. So, but you don't know where to start, right? A lot of people have a lot of ideas, but they have no practically done it before, right? So we actually have different events and initiatives that help you through. So first is a Startup Connect. This is a website that you can actually put up your company details, very simple one. So into this directory, so we will actually send this directory to all our partners. So so that if let's say they are looking for certain services, let's say you are actually doing travel relevant kind of startup services, so people can easily reach out to you. So this is one. You can go and search for Startup Connect SITEC. Then we have done Startup Quest Selangor. It's actually quite a fun thing. It's like a summer boot camp. We have done it in 2016 and 2017. We have done 3 cohorts. This is where we give 2-day workshops, pre-workshop for you to learn about how to build a startup business. And the other 2 days for you to team up with other participants to come up with a prototype, or we say it's a minimum viable product within the 2 days. So it's very fun. We have the youngest participants around 14 years old, and we have the eldest at 70. Yeah, this is some of the photos taken. So they have a lot of great ideas. So they just want to experience how to put the ideas into reality. So 2017. Okay, then last year we also did one event called Selangor Smart City and Future Commerce Hackathon. So what is a hackathon? A lot of people don't understand what is it. So hackathon is basically like a very short, marathon. Marathon is for you to continuously run for certain hours and all that, right? So hackathon is actually for programmers, for coders, to actually use the short time frame to tackle certain problems and solve the problems. So we are actually having this last year. The topic is Smart City and Future Commerce. We have seen around 150 coders that joined the hackathon. They didn't sleep for that one whole night. They just busy coding and then keep eating, coding, keep eating, that's it. So in the end, they come up with very, very nice solution. This is also one of the initiatives that we've done. So yeah, then about Smart City, we also very much into the Smart City movement because Selangor wants to go towards that direction. So 2016 and 2017, we also done the conference, international conference.
Advertising for brands big and small for 8 years now. The agency that I actually work on since 2010 is called Tribeup. Tribeup is a so-called boutique digital advertising and marketing agency that's based in Penang. So for the past 8 years, we have worked with brands big and small, over 200 local brands. Our current clients are Sunway, Eco World, to name a few. What we do actually is really to help them run Facebook advertising. Specifically Facebook advertising. That's what we have been doing day in, day out, for the past 8 years. So the reason why we started Tribeup Academy is it was actually started 2 years ago. So the reason why we started the academy is because we thought of, look, we have been doing this for many years and we realized that it's really difficult for us to reach out to as many people as you, like what we have here, to share with you, what are the in and outs about Facebook advertising. In fact, I believe all of you understand that Facebook advertising is not as straightforward. I hope we all have this understanding right now. So that was when we started, and we run monthly classes. We do have preview classes or so-called small sharings like this to share with you a bit, and we have master classes and other classes. So basically the whole idea is we want to share with you what we have learned in the past 8 years. After spending accumulatively, I guess we have spent over 3 to 5 million in total for brands. A lot of things. So basically, in order to put together something like today, we thought of going from a different angle. There's a reason why we call this case study seminar, because what we are going to share with you is exactly how we actually strategize for brands, for our clients, from a very beginning on, how we understand the customer, how we understand the market, and etc., until we formalize a strategy for each and every, brands that we touch. So basically, what we're going to have today here is we're going to have two parts. Where we have e-commerce. How many of you are actually in e-commerce industry? E-commerce as in like you say, oh well, what do you do, the rest of you? Brick and mortar, B2B. So that's the reason why we thought of, look, e-commerce is one area, and the other one we want to really put into is B2B businesses, because there are still people asking me, B2B works on Facebook advertising. I'm not sure. Yes and no. Let's take a look at the cases together. So before we really want to roll into this thing, the first thing I guess we have to take a look at, here. This one. A quick rewind to take a look at how Facebook advertising came to what it is today. If you cannot read this, no worries. You can download the deck later. Visit SITEC.com to download. Yes, please visit SITEC.com to download. Yeah. So first, in fact, Facebook started in 2004, and in 2004 itself, Facebook already have an advertising product in place. So back then, they first started to allow businesses around Harvard University, etc., to promote, especially F&B and events, to talk about your products or your promotions from time to time. Only in 2006, things get a little bit more serious. In 2006, Facebook introduced sponsored events with social contact, as well as sponsored groups. Now, sponsored groups are very much similar to what we have like Facebook pages today. But, before pages was even being introduced, group was the only way where people stay connected with brands. Else you will have to connect with a so-called Tribeup, but it's a profile. But at the end of the day, you have a 5,000 friends limit, and that's always there. So sponsored group, brands like Apple pays $1 per user per month to Facebook to maintain relationship with their audiences. At the group level. So basically, only in 2007 we have Facebook pages, and Facebook advertising solution was made available to the rest of the world. Now, when it comes to Facebook advertising, I personally started Facebook advertising since 2008. Don't ask me about the interface, don't ask me about solutions, but it really worked. But at the end of the day, Facebook actually improvised and evolved, Facebook advertising as a very important industry. So let's take a look what are the key points, what are the key milestones. In 2009, Facebook introduced very detailed targeting to go into language targeting, geo-targeting, and etc. So that's when we can really drill into different kind of advertising to get specific groups to see what we have got to offer. And then only in 2011 was the year that Facebook really started to reap huge profit from advertising. Why? Because you see, before 2011, there was really a downturn in terms of advertisement consumption on Facebook. Because if you remember correctly, back then Facebook, look, I'm Facebook, imagine on desktop, I'm Facebook. Where do you see advertisements back then? It's on here. It's on your left sidebar. And then, as we all know it, we all are human. We are so smart, and eventually, when we know that these are our advertisements, we stop looking at it. So eventually, when we stop looking at it, brands start to yell like, "Look, I'm pouring money on your platform, and you're not making money for me." And then one of the engineers got the strike of lightning and started realizing, look, everybody was paying attention here, here. Why not just place the advertisement here? So that was when Facebook started to place advertisement in the news feed. They call it sponsored feed, sponsored stories. That was also the year where Facebook kind of announced that they are going mobile. Back then Facebook was actually very buggy on mobile. Be it on their web version or their mobile apps sucks. But since 2010 or 11, Mark actually made an announcement that said, look, we are going mobile, and that's where they start to make huge money from Facebook advertising. But things start to get really exciting when they really launched. In 2012, they launched custom audience. You see, I wanted to do the zooming thing, but I don't have the software. Someone didn't tell me to install the software, so you have to follow the traditional red dot a little bit. It's custom audience in 2012. Now, custom audience is, in my opinion, the milestone or the product or the tool that makes Facebook literally the most powerful digital advertising solution. Why? Because custom audience, in my opinion, is the time where we are able to look into, contextual advertising. Contextual advertising is really something that we have been practicing for the past many years. What does it mean? For example, look, 100 people comes to your website, for example. Okay, let's take a look at the industrial standard conversion rate. How many percent? Let's say maybe 2 of them purchase on your website, maybe. So how many of you really take a look at this 98% that didn't convert? How many of you really, drill into, the behavior of these 98% of people who didn't convert, and these 98 people who actually show strong intent on your website but didn't purchase? What is your strategy? We call this the reminding strategy, and that's something that a lot of businesses are really missing. So this is exactly the thing that Facebook, established itself to become the digital advertising powerhouse. And come to where we are today, custom audience has 55 possible combinations for us to capture audiences based on different layer of funnel, to run different advertising, different call to action, different message to them at different time. That will actually reduce your cost significantly and increase your conversion rate significantly. And that's something that we are actually looking at from e-commerce perspective as well as from B2B business perspective as well. So that's when things really get exciting. Well, the rest is pretty much history. In 2014, they purchased Instagram. And if you are not sure, if you run advertising on Facebook, you are able to run advertising on Instagram at the same time. And we have the rest, like Instagram stories, etc. That was how actually, basically that's how Facebook advertising has evolved to where we are today. Now, what about now? A few things that we are supposed to expect, at least for this year. First, advertising cost is going to increase, at least by 40%. That's what happened in the past 1 year. Why? Because as Salman and Nicole told me that usually Facebook advertising class we have, or Facebook marketing class, we usually have full class, like what we have today. Why? Because everybody wants to advertise on Facebook, and when that happened, we have very, very big competition to actually face. So Facebook always have a very limited inventory when it comes to advertising space. Okay, so they have to actually charge higher. So higher bidders gets to show your advertisement. Eventually, the cost will increase. And then behavior change. How many years have you been using Facebook? Can I have somebody who has been using Facebook for more than 10 years now? Wow. Yeah, I know, because you just celebrated your anniversary. We have a 10-year anniversary video coming up. Yeah, so that's like, oh wow, you joined this. I don't even remember, no? So, yeah, 10 years. What about those who actually spent more than 8 years on Facebook already? Look, whether you are active on Facebook or not, Facebook is actually capturing data about you. So basically, if you ask me what is the accuracy in terms of targeting, how accurate is Facebook targeting? Anyone? How accurate? Let's say Facebook tells you that, look, these 100,000 people are the people that you're looking for. How accurate is Facebook targeting? Facebook audience targeting? Well, if you go through Facebook Blueprint program, there's an answer. Well, there's one thing called Blueprint certification where people like us will have to go through some crazy tests, 3 papers to pass to become Blueprint certified. There's an answer for it. 85% generally worldwide, and for countries with huge Facebook population like us, how many users are there? I mean, how many Facebook users do we have in Malaysia? Anyone knows the number? We have 22 million Facebook users out of 30 million population that we have. So that's over, close to 80%. Basically, my mom uses Facebook. My dad uses Facebook. You have no idea how tough it was for me to accept the invitation. So when this happened, means that Facebook is unbeatable, at least at the moment, and we have to go to Facebook because this is where people spend time on Facebook. So all these numbers actually gives us a better perspective in terms of Facebook advertising. Now the next thing that we're going to look at is, if you are not sure how does a Facebook advertisement looks like, in fact it's actually very simple. You just go to your newsfeed, anything with the word sponsored below the name are ads. So ads could come in various forms. You won't be able to tell which objective it uses, let's say what is the destination. Like for example, this advertisement looks like a video, but this advertisement looks like a single image, but it actually could be a canvas advertisement, or it could be a conversion advertisement, it could be a link click advertisement, it could also be a link generation advertisement. So you won't be able to tell from the surface until you click it, but the moment you click it, you are in one way or another. So this is Facebook advertisement. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is, I really want to take a look at Facebook advertising from very important, the holistic perspective, like what really is Facebook advertising, what really makes Facebook advertising different from the rest digital advertising formats. I have 5 key points to share with you. The first one is what we call people-based advertising. Now, to understand people-based advertising is actually very simple. I believe you have heard of how Google remarket to you. Now, this is how it works. You go to a website on your browser, and then if you do not make any action that they want you to take, eventually an advertisement from this company will follow you wherever you go. That stays true when you really browse website to another. How many of you really go to website to browse website nowadays? You don't. You click to website from Facebook. And when you go to other websites, you just do whatever you want. You largely ignore the other advertisement. Okay? So this kind of retargeting, or we call it remarketing, okay, actually is cache-based or cookies-based. Which means if I clear my cache, my browser cache, you won't be able to follow me anymore. Now, what about Facebook? Facebook is people-based advertising where, how many of you really log out from Facebook? You do. The rest, you don't even remember your password, I know. Guilty. Okay? We don't log out from Facebook. The moment you don't log out from Facebook, whether on desktop or on mobile, you probably log out on desktop, but you don't log out on mobile. So the retargeting follows you exactly whenever you're logging. So the problem is we don't log out. So that makes the retargeting part of Facebook advertising really, really powerful. We have is the detailed and specific objectives. Do you know how? Cannot, right? Yeah, scary. Okay. Yeah, now only we realize how scary it is. Shit, log out from WhatsApp. Look, the next really important point about Facebook advertising is Facebook has very, very specific and detailed objectives. On paper, there are 11 Facebook advertising objectives available, and each and every one of you works entirely different from one another. Like for example, if you are targeting people to go to your website, It's totally different from targeting people to convert on your website. That's a different thing. But the moment you do not understand the objectives, in my language or in my words, you're literally pouring money into the ocean. You won't get anything you want. Why? Well, I won't be able to go into detail to understand how the mechanics work because that's my master class. What really works is that Facebook would give you, let's say for example, if you choose, look, this is simple. I believe all of you have boosted a post before. How many of you have not boosted a post? Do you know how to boost a post? When you post something on your Facebook page, there's a blue button there called boost. So when you click, Facebook will tell you that, look, spend 50 ringgit to reach 10,000 more people, and you'll be like, wow, miracle. So you did. You did? You didn't? Well, what did you do? Okay, boost post is actually one of the, I call it the lowest hanging fruit of Facebook advertising. That's where most people start Facebook advertising. To click on the boost post button. Now, do you know what are you getting when you click boost post? Well, when you click boost post, you're actually getting reactions, comments, and shares. Likes, comments, and shares. Likes or reactions like angry face, sad face or whatsoever, laugh face or whatsoever. Those are reactions. Reactions, comments, and shares. Now let me ask you this very simple question. When was the last time you shared a post from a business page? Last week. You still shared something. The rest of them can't even say anything. You don't even remember when was the last time you shared a post. You don't even remember when was the last time you commented a post from a business page. Not any other friend's page. A business page like, for example, Tribeup Academy. I post something, you come and say, wow, this is powerful, I want to share to my friends. When do you do that? You don't do that anymore. Now this is the problem, because the moment you click on boost post, you are getting these actions. Now let me ask you a very simple thing. Are we your target audience? For your business, I bet we are. But we don't take these actions. The problem when you do this is Facebook would not prioritize showing your advertisement to me because I don't take this action. But Facebook will show your advertisement to the people who are likely to take that action that you're looking for, which is likes, comments, or shares, which we don't do. So this is one of the very important things to really understand Facebook advertising objectives in order to reach the right people that might take the action that you're looking for. So that's, fundamentally, really important key point to have better understanding about Facebook advertising objectives. So that's the second key point. So what is the third one? The third one is powerful advanced retargeting. Now when you talk about retargeting means I will be able to know how many people actually watch this 3 minutes video up to 50%. That means what? Well, 3 minutes video on Facebook is disaster. Now, if somebody really care enough to watch your 3 minutes video up to 50%, that means two things. Either they are really interested about your product, or they have too much time to spend. So either way, we want to capture these people as our retargeting audience. For example, you may have reached 1,000 people, but at the end of the day, only 30 people who watch your video up to 50%. You are able to run specific advertisement to these 30 people. Does it mean something? It means two important things. First, you will be reaching these people as many times as you want. Second thing, the cost will be damn low. How low? Let me give you a very simple amount. Well, assuming that, I'm an economist, we have this thing called ceteris paribus, which means assuming all other factors remains unchanged. Meaning that I assume that these 30 people come online every single day. Okay? By spending 10 ringgit, you're able to reach these 30 people as much as 100 times in total. Which means at each and every one of them will at least see your advertisement 3 times. Now, I am saying, assuming all other factors remain unchanged. And all these other factors always change lah, come on. So, but that's the amount that you need to spend to reach these people this many times. That makes, I believe that rings a bell because you have been pouring a lot of money to reach out those co-audiences or so-called your target audiences, but you're not really getting the conversion rates or something that you want because one very simple thing in my language or in my term, I call it, you're not planning a series of actions that leads to your end goal. Now when it comes to Facebook advertising, another thing that we really have to understand is that it's not just one one way to the end. Now let's understand or agree on two very important key points. The key point one is, do you agree that nobody will buy from you the first time they see your ad? Everybody nodding your head, right? Now, have you been always reaching these people? So my next fundamental that I really want to put it to you is, you have to really work on the reminding strategy. To remind them to come back, to buy, to see you again, to consider you again. That's something that a lot of people are not doing. So, in my own term, I call it the reminding strategy. Look, so that's the second key important points about Facebook advertising. We have very powerful, advanced retargeting features. The third one would be powerful analytics and reporting. Well, Facebook, I believe if you really run a Facebook page, there's one thing called Facebook Insights. I believe you depend heavily on it to find out. Insights has got a huge upgrade recently, very powerful, but something that you may not really aware is there's this thing called Facebook Analytics. Now, Facebook Analytics, in my opinion, is even more powerful than Google Analytics. Okay, so because Facebook by nature itself is a people-based advertising, so the analytics actually largely ties back to the user profiles, which enable to give you, more in-depth information about your visitors, about your audiences, etc. So that's really something powerful. And then the reporting tool is also really powerful. So that's the fourth point, about Facebook advertising. Last but not least, Facebook advertising is fundamentally cross-platform advertising. Well, when you run advertisement on Facebook, you're advertising on Facebook, Instagram, and other websites or mobile apps that serves Facebook ads. There are huge number of other mobile apps, especially mobile apps that serves Facebook ads. Okay, so that's what we call audience network. It's really powerful. So that's 5 key points, fundamental, that makes Facebook advertising really different. Do you have any question for me, as of now? What? Many? I thought many is a question. I was looking for answer just now. Please write down. Okay? Many is a question. Well, do you have any other questions? Yes. It's a 1.5 hour thing. I won't be able to do that. I'm so sorry. I wish to. But it's okay, because for this question, I guess you can really easily find some comparisons by Googling it. Very subjective. Different audience, well, yes and no. Behaviors are different, definitely. And then the strategy that you need to have for Facebook and Instagram are largely different as well. Yeah, different expert would have different opinion about the differences, but yes, these two are fundamentally different platforms. So yeah, sorry, okay, so if all good, then we move to the next one. What am I supposed to talk about the next one? What happened to my pointer? I need that zoom in pointer, right? Or probably I should move my here, so I won't be able to point now. The topic talks about 2 fundamental things, which is Facebook advertising for e-commerce and B2B businesses, and that's what we're going to talk about. Now let's talk about the first one, which is e-commerce businesses. Okay, when it comes to e-commerce businesses, let's take a look at the so-called a simple one, how e-commerce in Malaysia has evolved over the past many years. So this is actually some data based on ecinsiders.my, one of a very respected so-called e-commerce and startup news platform in Malaysia. You can actually visit this website. Well, how it all started? It was started in 1999 when Lelong was established in Malaysia, and those are the few years that those big boys, like Asia, eBay and iPay, they started to form and lead the evolution of e-commerce in Malaysia. I always like to regard these few players as really our forefathers, and they are really our so-called leaders, because without them, we wouldn't have come to where we are today. And now we're talking about the next wave of evolution to go cashless. Okay,
let's not get there. But it's really powerful to look at it, really fascinating to see what has happened in the past 10 years. And then only in 2012, Rakuten, Zalora, and Lazada actually entered Malaysian market. We thought it was really, really long time ago, but turns out it's less than 10 years. But they have already changed the e-commerce landscape in Malaysia tremendously. Really have to thank to these people. The next one is we had My Cyber Sale came about in 2014. 11th Street, Gem5 and Shopee only entered market in 2015. Wow, that's bloody only 3 years away, so seriously. And then of course, when everybody comes in, there will be people exiting as well. So we have Rakuten, Gem5 exiting in 2016 and 17. Last year, we had another exit from B to B to C market, which is Logon. No, last year or this year? I think it's this year still. Early this year, yeah, Logon, yeah, but now they're still around. It's just that they do not cater B to B to C anymore. Okay, and then last year was the big hype year about DFTZ, Digital Free Trade Zone. Well, Digital Free Trade Zone actually a lot of people worried, especially e-commerce retailers, but turns out not really. It's not DFTZ that spoils the market, it's Lazada that spoils the market. Well, not really, one way or another. Well, DFTZ fundamentally helps you export, if you really understand the fundamental of it. So it's really a powerful thing. If you want to understand more, you can ask me, I will be able to, or you can ask me Ko as well. You should connect to MDAC. Because MDAC really helped a lot of businesses to go on board into the DFTZ platform, etc. So there are many initiatives available now. The next thing we're going to look at is the e-commerce numbers in Malaysia. So we are only talking about goods only, which means we do not calculate in hotel booking, flight booking, etc. Those are not the numbers that we're looking at. But by goods only, okay, the number that we had last year was 1,000 billion is 1.76 billion, right? 100 million, 1,000 billion. Okay, I think I'm right. Okay, well, it's about 1 point something billion, and it's expecting to actually double, more than double, in less than 5 years' time, in 2022. So if you ask me, well, a lot of people are actually seeing this as a huge opportunity. Yes, it's huge opportunity. But trust me, if you want to come in and really just thought that everything is gonna be damn easy and you're gonna just kickstart and run, no. Things get more and more complicated from day to day because technology evolves, marketing practices and all this. The landscape changed too fast that it's kind of more difficult or more challenging to really be successful on e-commerce right now. I mean, I'm not trying to dishearten, but I actually manage several e-commerce businesses when it comes to Facebook advertising. It's really, really interesting. I'm going to touch on that later because we're going to have a case study. So when it comes to e-commerce challenges in Malaysia, fundamentally, DBS Insights listed down 3 important challenges when it comes to e-commerce in Malaysia: payment, logistic, and marketing. Now, I don't need to talk about payment and logistic because that's not something that we can do. You won't be able to come up with another Post Malaysia and say that, look, Post sucks, I want to do my own, come on lah. And you say that, oh, I pay 88, which means 11th Street, Lazada, etc. Those are the marketplaces, or your own website. Okay? But let's take a look at the differences between these two. Okay? For marketplace, what are the challenges and pros and cons? We call it pros and cons of marketplace advertising. Now, a few things. First, I mean, these are all based on our observations because we also train, for the past 2 years we have trained about 3,000 people. Majority of them are e-commerce sites. So based on all the data that we have collected, okay, marketplaces are still the main revenue driver for most e-commerce businesses. I'm not sure whether it's true to you, but that's based on our statistics, based on the number of the merchants that we have worked with in the past 2 years. But although it's really the main driver for e-commerce revenue, it is really difficult to build database when you're selling on marketplaces. Why? Because one way or another, they are actually making it very difficult for you to export your seller database like phone numbers or email addresses from the marketplaces. Okay, yeah, unless you are using some third-party integration like maybe WebShaper, SiteGiant, etc., which there are integration available. And when you are selling on marketplaces, you are also facing another problem, which is you have really, really low customer loyalty. Why? Say for example, if you run advertisement for a dress, okay, and bring them to Lazada. Now the next thing that the visitor will say is, wow, this dress cost me 100 ringgit, and a little bit down a little bit, well, other dresses that cost 98 ringgit, 55 ringgit. So people actually navigate away. Most of the time, people navigate away from marketplace listings. Why? Because there are so much distractions and there are so much competition. So it's really hard for you to build so-called customer loyalty. But if you actually look at the long term of e-commerce, e-commerce industry, it's really important that you have to build your own following. We look at this from some cases that we work with when we work with our partners from Taiwan. Well, Taiwan is actually about 10 years ahead of us when it comes to e-commerce. Okay, so they have been through all the struggles that we're actually going through right now, and then they have come to a stage where brands are actually competing for brand share right now. They are really going for something over, extra miles to maintain the loyalty of people, to increase the customer lifetime value of the customers, and etc. But that's not really something that we are competing right now in our market yet, but consider, because that's the next step that you will really want to look at. Okay, the next thing that we look at is it's really hard to measure advertising ROI. If you are running Facebook advertising to drive people to your Shopee store, for example, you won't be able to really quantify, say for example, 100 people who come through, how many really purchase through these ads? You won't know because Shopee don't give you this data. And then you won't be able to know that, look, I know I have, out of these 100, I have 10 purchases, but how many of these 90 actually came to add to cart? How many of these 90 actually came to initiate payment? You don't know. That's exactly what I mean by, actually losing a big chunk of data when it comes to, marketplace advertising for e-commerce businesses. Well, whereas when it comes to website, you have different set of pros and cons or challenges ahead of you. First, you have really shaky conversion rates. Sometimes you have 10%, wow, that's like the best day of your life. And eventually, most of the days you have 1%. I don't know about yours, typically for any e-commerce website, if you're running your own, you're driving traffic to your own website and look, judging from the conversion rate, usually it's actually below 2% for own e-commerce websites. That's the statistics that we get from our so-called participants to our classes. It's really, really challenging. Okay, and you won't be able to keep on throwing promotions. Come on, promotions kills our margin. So yeah, that's one of the challenges. And at the same time, if you're selling on your own website, you have another challenge with fragmented features. What do you mean by that? For example, so far one of the most complete e-commerce solution in the market is Shopify. Okay, but the rest of the solutions may have their own, pros and cons, and then they have different specialties. Like for example, we work with SiteGiant to build their platform. They are very strong in Facebook retargeting part, but there are some people who complain that they actually lack of customization options. Well, if you go for Shopify, then you have really high cost to bear because every transaction you have to pay, and then etc. So different so-called service provider or solution provider will have fragmented features or focus that they're actually looking at. So that poses a very huge challenge for e-commerce sellers like us. I want A, B, and C, but this only provide me A and C. But B is important to me, but if I go to someone B that has B, that they don't have A, look, what do? If you build your own, God bless you. You can't. It's really difficult to build your own e-commerce solution because everything changes too fast and the cost is too huge to bear. So that's another challenge that most e-commerce sellers are facing. Then the other one is, but the good point is, when you are running on Facebook, if you are running Facebook advertising or digital advertising to your own e-commerce website, everything is highly measurable. Because you are able to know exactly 100 people who come in, 50 of them added some product to cart, 10 of them actually went to initiate checkout, and only one purchased. So I need to focus on these 9 people who didn't purchase, or I want to focus on 50 people who added to cart. That's entirely up to you. You have more things to play. you have more strategies that you can actually try, when it comes to your Facebook advertising. So the other one is you're able to build higher customer loyalty. Why? Because if I really care enough to come to your website, that means something. And nowadays, we all know that, even normal users like us, we all know that it's actually a very, how do we call that? We are always swarmed by information. It's information overload. So each and every one of us have our own way to so-called save or to stay connected to brands that we are interested in. Either you follow them on Facebook, or you subscribe to their newsletter, or you actually, I don't know, what else? Yeah, different ways that we want to stay in touch, even to bookmark or save their website so that you can come back. So that actually helps you build long-term loyalty, because if you're only selling on marketplace, I won't be able to bookmark you see? I mean, not for most marketplaces. Okay, so yeah, that's another thing. And then the most important part is you're able to build your own database, which in my opinion, database is the king. Many says content is king. Of course, content is king. But at the end of the day, what do you want with content? You want to build database because there's something that you can actually build long-term benefit or long-term stream of income for your business. So basically, these are the two sets of pros and cons for different platforms. So it's entirely up to you. But let's take a look at how really want to look at the whole thing. So when it comes to marketplace and website marketing, there are really two so-called platforms that we're looking at. But today we're not talking about Google. So it's all Facebook. So when it comes to Facebook, the next question that we really want to ask is, did the question come up? No. Question. So how to build and optimize an effective Facebook advertising strategy for your business? And that's what we're going to discuss next. Before we go into that, any questions? All good? Now let's move. So before we jump right into the way we strategize Facebook advertising campaign for our clients, I want to clear a few misconceptions about Facebook advertising, which I already touched some of the points earlier, but I want to re-establish it to make sure that we all remember these few things that we are looking at. First, Facebook advertising really is optimized for contextual advertising, or we call it multi-tier advertising. Remember the two key fundamentals that we agree on. No one will buy from you the first time they see you, hence it's really important to remind them. So remind here, we talk about contextual advertising because you want to run ads that fits to where they are in your funnel layer. So it's people who have, say for example, people who have added something to cart, you shouldn't let them see the advertisement like, hi, I am selling this thing. Look, I know you're selling this thing. I added to cart. Come on. So what's next? You should be running a so-called a coupon thing to them. Look, you have been here, 10 ringgit, buy now. That should be your next advertisement. Okay, but how many of you really look at this and work on this strategy? So that's one thing that we really want to promote, and that's what we have been actually preaching. And I think it's really important for especially e-commerce businesses to adopt this strategy. Why? Because we all have very limited budget. We need to make sure that our ROI is good. Then only we can continue our business. I mean, simple way. So the next thing that we're going to look at is we do not want to always focus on cold audiences. That's one thing that I really want you to remember. Cold audiences are what? Audiences that that you group together, targeting, like for example, if you sell clothes, you want to target people who are into shopping, fashion, something like that. But you know that these are the audiences that do not know you yet. So these are your cold audiences. Do not always focus on cold audiences. Yes, it's really important to always have an inflow of cold audiences to your funnel, but you need to work on your reminding strategy, as I say. So the third thing that we're looking at is sometimes do not focus too much on cost per click or cost per impression. This is a little bit counterintuitive because everybody and most of the agency will come and tell you that, look, you should drive the cost down. True when you are targeting your cold audiences. Not true if you're targeting your warm audiences, which means people who have, say for example, added to cart. Now, people who have added to cart may be little, but it's not the cost per click that you should be focusing. You should be focusing on frequency. Do you agree? You want to reach them 10 times a day for 3 days because you know that your conversion window is 3 days. Well, that's hotel booking. You have to understand your conversion window. Okay? If it's 3 days, you want to reach them as many times as possible for 3 days. So in that kind of scenario, you shouldn't be focusing on cost per click. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's one thing that a lot of advertisers still stuck at. And I want to break you away from that. And then the next thing is do not optimize on customer journey. Like I said, this is something that a lot of businesses are not looking at. They do not optimize on the customer journey. They're always trying to get new customer and new customer and new customers, but really something that's really important for you to figure out and really craft out is your customer journey. Okay, and then last but not least is most businesses, they are advertising without detailed segmentation for your target audiences. So that's something that we really want to cover in the next stage. So what I'm going to show you next, if you don't mind, can I get a sip of water? So what I'm going to show you next is exactly how we work with our client. The moment you walk through the door, I'm going to ask you these questions. I'm going to work with you on these key areas, and I'm going to tell you that, look, this is your strategy. So